What's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio Robinson, back with the latest and greatest on the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel, where we ramble about the Washington Commanders. Our guys have been to camp for 8 days now. Football is being played tonight, the Hall of Fame game between the Jets and the Browns. So I'll be watching, getting some self-scouting going for our first preseason opponent, because we go up to Cleveland next Friday. Yes, you heard me correctly. Next Friday, August 11th, we'll be going up to Cleveland to face Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Kellen Mond with his ugly-ass javelin throwing style, throwing motion, and the Cleveland Browns. I don't expect to see much of the massage man Deshaun Watson, but football is here. And I'll have you a recap of this week in practices tomorrow. But today, I want to talk about 3 bold predictions I have for the Washington Commanders for 2023. As we draw closer to the season, you see the change. You see the turn in the tides with the national media, as pundit after pundit is suddenly realizing, now that Dan's gone, that we have a good roster. All of a sudden, you're hearing Sam Howell this, Chase Young that, Emmanuel Forbes, the defensive pieces they have. Washington has a really talented roster. Don't sleep on the Washington Commander. Exactly. But we got the receipts, though. We seen how y'all was talking about us all off season. As we draw closer to the season, guys are suddenly gravitating towards our Washington Commanders. But I have 3 bold predictions that if they come into fruition, this is an 11-win football team. Yes, I said it. Dare I say 11-win football team, something I've never seen in my lifetime as a fan. Y'all remember the graphic that we did a video on? All the teams in their last 11-win seasons were the only team in the 21st century that has not had one. It's time to pay the piper. It's got to come at some point, right? And what better year to do so than the year we get rid of Daniel Snyder for the Hog, the Harrison ownership group. It's time, and these are my 3 bold predictions that if they come true, Washington is in the best condition and best shape it's been in to win 11 games in my lifetime as a fan. Starting with bold prediction number 1. I know y'all heard us on our record prediction special the other day with me, Jalen, and Alex. Shout out to the guys. I predicted the return and resurgence of generational Chase Young. I think something's finally clicked and finally registered with the guy mentally on top of physically. He looks like he's got his explosion back. I've seen him a couple days at practice in person, and I've seen all the footage. He has that knee brace off, and he looks like he has extra pep in his step. He looks extra spry and explosive. I'm predicting 14 plus sacks for Chase Young in 2023. And to be specific, if I'm going off of what I said in the pod the other day, 16 and a half sacks for one Chase Young, the DMV's own. I know it. That sounds head scratching and jarring to a lot of you. I'm very hard on Chase Young. I'm going to continue to be hard on Chase Young. Chase Young's going to be hard on Chase Young. His family's going to be hard on him. This is what I expect. He's going to secure his contract this year. He looks like he's ready to do it. The body language looks better. The energy is infectious again. Just look at the way he's carrying himself in practice. I know they just got the pads on, so I'm not basing this merely off what I see in camp. It has to click now for Chase Young. I want to believe that the guy I thought I was getting with the 2nd overall pick in 2020, the absolute game wrecker who won Rookie of the Year, I want to believe that guy exists and that there's an even better version than the 2020 version of Chase. And I think we get that guy this year. 16 and a half sacks for one Chase Young in 2023. And if we get that type of game-wrecking demeanor from Chase, this is no doubt a top 2 defense in the NFL, because, man, next to John Allen, Deron Payne, Montez Sweat, and the secondary that we have, if Chase gives you 16 and a half sacks, you can imagine some forced fumbles took place. And you can imagine that defense is giving Sam Howell short fields every day. And those 2 things go together. If Chase and the defense take care of business, leave short fields and make it convenient for a young quarterback going through growing pains, then there should be no reason why this team isn't a playoff team in 2023. Bold prediction number 1, Chase Young, 16 and a half sacks in 2023. Bold prediction number 2, Brian Robinson has top 5 running back production this year, which surpasses 1,350 total yards. So between rushing and receiving, close to 1,400 total yards this year. The main takeaway offensively outside of the O-line and Sam Howell through 8 days of practice, they really want to get Brian Robinson involved in the pass game. He's catching a lot of passes out of the backfield. I'm not just talking screens or bubbles. He's running wheels. He's running routes in the flat. He's running crossers. He's coming straight up the seam. And if you heard his pressers, he's made it an adamant point that he doesn't want to be pigeonholed, typecasted into the role of bell cow power back. I don't want to be a power back. I want to do it all. The guy looks like he has an amazing physique right now. He looks like he's in tremendous shape, super lean. He might have lost too much weight, but he looks so explosive, and he's showing natural hands. Gibson's supposed to be the pass catching back of the group, but Brian Robinson, they're using him like an every down feature back. Not only the in between the tackle stuff, but they're lining him up all over the place, and they're throwing the ball to him early and often. And it seems like a focal point of the offense to get the backs the ball in space, and not just Antonio Gibson. B-Rob, easily going over 1,000 for me if he plays the whole season. So I'm thinking around 1,150 to 1,200 rush yards and 200, 250, maybe 300 receiving yard, 10 total touchdown. Breakout season for Brian Robinson Jr. Close to 1,400 total yard. Could surpass it, but I can see it. They want to use this guy. They want to get the ball in his hands in space because he's a fucking tank. Imagine that tank coming full speed downhill in the open field after catching the ball with a full head of steam. You don't want to see that. I pray for the little cornerbacks and safeties that are trying to chase Brian Robinson and tackle him one-on-one in space. Brian Robinson, 1,350 total yards is my bold prediction number 2 for the Washington Commanders. And my last one, the most important one of them all, they all tie together. All these things intertwine. If one thing happens, the other one happens easier. And the last one is Sam Howell will throw for 4,000 yards and 25 touchdowns this year. And I know you're going to say, Rio, 25 touchdowns. So you're saying he's going to do what Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert did last year? Trevor Lawrence had a rough first start to the season, and Justin Herbert, you know the situation with the Chargers, the line, is all types of shit happening over there in Los Angeles, but they're ballers. But 25 touchdowns, it should be bare minimum. I'm not going out here and say, 19 touchdowns. No, we're not treating Sam like he's a rookie quarterback. The two bums I saw start 16 weeks for us last year combined for 23 touchdowns. So if they can get 23 touchdowns, I know for a fact Sam Howell could throw for 25. 4,000 yards and 25 touchdowns. I'm asking for the Kirk Cousins special because Kirk Cousins is going to throw for 4,000. Kirk Cousins is going to throw for 25 touchdowns a year. That's top half of the league quarterback play. I watched Kirk here do it in Washington 3 years in a row before leaving for Minnesota. I can expect Sam Howell to do the same thing. Kirk was picked around before Sam Howell, but Sam Howell had a better college career than Kirk Cousins. It is fair to expect with an innovative, cutting-edge offensive coordinator, not running some dated, repetitive, redundant system like Scott Turner, that we can expect more output out of the offense. Yes, the offensive line has to be better for Sam to do this, but the quarterback play has to be better to make it easier for the offensive linemen. A lot of bad line adjustments and movements were called, and a lot of shit quarterback play made the offensive line play look worse than it actually was. Yes, it was bad at times last year, but not knowing how to maneuver in the pocket, quarterbacks being a statue, quarterbacks leaving clean pockets. All of that matters when it comes to offensive line play. And I think an improvement from the quarterback position helps them as well as they help him. Those things go hand in hand in the marriage between OC and quarterback. It seems to be getting off to a good start. Sam gets it. He wants it. He's all ball. They did a segment on Rich Eisen yesterday where they were talking about how he doesn't have quarterback hair. We talk about it on here all the time. Sam is all ball. He doesn't care about his appearance. He doesn't care about on-field drip, none of that. He just cares about balling and playing the quarterback position at a professional level in the NFL. And I think it's a bold prediction, but it shouldn't really be so bold to expect 25 touchdowns and 4,000 yards from one Airwolf, Sam Howell, in 2023 for the Washington Commanders. My exact stat line for Sam for 2023 to complete this bold prediction, 4,007 yards. So we're just squeaking past the 4,000 yard mark. 25 passing touchdowns, 5 rushing. So 30 total touchdowns. So not quite the record of 30 touchdowns that we haven't seen in 56 years since Sonny Jurgensen, but 30 total touchdowns. Something we haven't seen since Kirk was here. 30 total touchdowns, 25 through the air, 5 on the ground. 4,007 pass yards, 10 interceptions. Book it, lock it up. If we can get my 3 bold predictions, which were 16 and a half sacks from Chase Young, 1,350 total yards for Brian Robinson, and 4,000 passing yards for Sam Howell, and 25 passing touchdowns, there's no reason you can look me in my eyes and tell me Washington is not an 11-win team competing for the division and in contention in the NFC in 2023. Let me know your 3 Washington Commanders bold predictions in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. We're 300 subscribers away from 8,000, 2,300 away from 10K, which is my first big milestone on the channel. Let me know some bold predictions in the comments, and let me know what you think of mine. These things take place. Man, we are on and popping. Burgundy shaded lenses on. They are tinted. Hailing to the Washington Commanders. This is the time of year for peak optimism, and the burgundy and gold Kool-Aid is hitting different around this time because we're back to predicting 11-win seasons and gaudy statistical numbers from the best players on our team. That's all I got for right now. Hail to the Washington Commanders. Until next time, Rio out.